Hi everyone, your favorite Skystriker simp Kevin is here. So chapter 2 of the OCG manga has been released and it's fine. Feels kinda rushed, but there's some key things we can take away from this relatively short chapter. If you haven't seen my previous video, which you should probably check out, basically yes, Raye is 13 years old, she's the only surviving human left, and she just got the power of Engage. Alright, you basically just caught up. Now let's break down chapter 2. But before we get into this, please sub, like, share this video so you can help me pay for Raye's OnlyFans. Rent, help me pay for rent. We first get a glimpse of the enemy nation Spectra's capital. We get introduced to Kianos, Sulfurina, and Zard, who are the enemy war council. Apparently, they control over 95% of the planet, and the only 5% remaining is Kama, Raye's nation, remember? Zard argues with Sulfurina, warning her to not underestimate the Kama, due to their disadvantage against Skystriker. The only reason they were able to achieve what they have so far was because of Zard's own precise plans. Zard also mentions that the town still contains remnants of human culture, which Sulfurina doesn't really care about. Kianos mentions that the town might be a fun place for a picnic, and then heads off. We move to the outskirts of Kama, where Illyrion is carrying an injured Pylon to safety. He leaves him, but then promises to come back. Then, we suddenly shift to Scylla, in the midst of a battle alongside Arcus, with Illyrion joining shortly. Arcus activates her fingers like Wolverine claws, and then she goes ham. But then the drone mothership arrives, with so many enemy units. It seems all hope is lost when the main cannon is aimed at our cast, ready to banish them to the Shadow Realm. Scylla prays for Raye to live on, only for BAM! Ego booster Raye slices the mothership in half in one blow. Raye managed to save them just in the nick of time. Instead of celebration, Scylla is struck with concern that Raye has become a Skystriker ace, where there's no way for her to return to the way she was. Raye doesn't regret her decision, but Scylla kinda scolds her. Scylla never wanted Raye to fight since she possesses life, unlike the rest of them, who are composed of mere data. A teary-eyed Raye disagrees. To her, Scylla and everyone in her family are more than just data. We have a heartfelt moment as Raye and her surrogate mother Scylla embrace. Of course, Arcus realizes that since Raye was given the power of Skystriker, it means the town of Kama is under attack. They decide to return quickly. Suddenly, a flash of light appears. The War Council has arrived. Some awkward comedy later, they introduce themselves as the Spectra Three Pillars, which is kinda funny when they get ignored by Raye and friends. To which Sulfurina decides to fight Arcus on the spot, leaving the other two to fight Scylla. Raye wants to help, but Scylla tells Raye she doesn't have to fight, and that she has to take Illyrion and the others to a safe place first. Illyrion and Raye come back to Pylon, and they take off, while their pets Tama and Pochi broadcast Scylla's battle footage. Sulfurina and Arcus continue their battle, but then Arcus is hit with a strange beam. Turns out Sulfurina replenished Arcus' energy pack, where they can go full power for the next 5 minutes. Sulfurina did not do it out of pity, but to collect accurate battle data. Meanwhile, the other battle begins with Kianos attacking first, where it seems they are evenly matched. Zard reveals a small orb, which is a magnet wave, rendering all machines incapable of movement. But the three Spectra members of course have equipment that shields them from it. Scylla is captured to be analyzed for data or info on Kama, just as Sulfurina is given the order to destroy Arcus. The magnet wave is cut in half, and Raye appears. And that's basically it for chapter 2. So what can we take from this chapter? This was mostly an action chapter, but there were a few things that stood out to me. First is the Spectra have personalities. Kianos has like an odd childlike wonder thing going on. Sulfurina is like an honorable person but doesn't care for human things. And then Zard, who's the logical one. I know the manga is throwing like 10 characters in the first 2 chapters, but it's strange since my initial impression of the Spectra made it seem like they were ruthless robots a la Skynet. We also have a couple more religious references regarding the names of our new enemy characters. Kainos or Kanos has like a Greek origin meaning new or something recent, which probably fits along Kainos' rather innocent and childlike fascination with human culture. Also Kaina, sulfur of course is an element on a periodic table, but did you know sulfur dioxide is given off by lightning strikes? And where does lightning come from again? The sky or heaven. By the way, who didn't show up in this chapter? Himmel. Also, you know, God's wrath, and I guess there's a pun in there for furious, like Ferosa. And then we have Zard, which is apparently Arabic for shield, used in war for the prevention of enemies, which kinda aligns with his careful planning and destroys Kama with facts and logic. In terms of references, obviously Ego Booster Raye cuts through the mothership like butter, which is interesting since if you notice multi-row Ego Booster Shark Cannon, and I guess technically linkage, Raye isn't wearing her Iron Man armor, which means we will probably see something soon given the last panel on the last page looks a lot like Kagari's pose, the original one, not the alt art. Also, it was very quick, but isn't it weird that the outskirts of so Kama is like a desert. In the first panel, we see that the spectral capital looks very advanced with its infrastructure. You think controlling 95% of the world would mean mostly everything else on the planet would have some sense of civilization, but Kama is located on its own, as we can see in the little map projection thing. And finally, we still have to ask the question, when is Rose going to show up? Looking back, the lore uses the specific word of being developed by the military empire to counter Raye. Since the robots were going to capture Sela, but then destroy Arcus for some reason, it makes me wonder why Sela was the only target. Wouldn't it make more sense from a tactical perspective to capture the person who trains or is in charge, like, you know, instead of a nurse or someone who works in logistics? In that case, why wouldn't they take the person who trained Raye how to fight instead of, like, you know, her mom? Maybe they thought Arcus would be dangerous as a captive and escape or something. Or maybe Shin Yoshida wanted a fan service scene with Sela. I don't know. But my point is, since they showed capturing, maybe Rose will probably show up because Raye or someone who possesses her genetic data will get captured and Spectre will clone her or something as a counter. I don't know. I'm just reaching here, gang. Alright, Future Kevin here. Actually, I think I figured it out why they maybe wanted Sela only. Because remember, she's Raye's mom, and if you're a mom, you can give birth to someone. Huh? I know she's a robot, but, like, you know, shut up. Also, remember the guy who's writing this did this. And that is only chapter 2. I don't know. I'll be pretty surprised, to be honest, if it managed to hit double-digit chapters. But we'll see. What did you think of chapter 2? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. See you around, gang.